everyone. Welcome back to today's Dose of Donkeys. We have Ollie and Milo back with us, and we'll be reading a little more of Runaway Ralph. I hope you all had a really great weekend and got a chance to spend some time doing some really fun things with your families. We'll continue our great work this week, and I'll get you caught up on our story a bit too. We left off with, of course, Milo admiring himself in the video, and we also left off with Chum telling the tale of how he came to be at Happy Acres Camp. He talked about leaving the pet store and how terrible that was for him, and how now he's come to live with Lana. We rode a bus to this camp where a counselor put together a makeshift cage out of a bucket with a piece of screen bent over the top. After a few days, the girl's family arrived. There was quite a fuss when the parents saw that their daughter owned a hamster, but her two little brothers set up such a howl that once more I was stuffed into a box with so-called air holes, and after more bouncing and jouncing, I arrived at the family's house where I was put into this cage where I've lived ever since. Poked out with pencils whenever the children's horrid little friends came over to play. Fed hamster food full of nasty little alfalfa pellets that I keep shoving out of my cage. You'd think that they would catch on after a while, but no, they just keep feeding me that food mixed with alfalfa pellets. The worst part of my life is that I never get a full day's sleep. Remember, we're talking about a hamster here who sleeps during the day and is awake at night. Someone's always moving against the cage to dust, rattling something against the bars, running the vacuum cleaner, practicing violin lessons. It's not an easy life, let me tell you. But how did you get back to camp? Ralph wanted to know. Well, last year, when Lana was packing her duffel for camp, her mother said that since the people who ran the camp had let her buy me, she was tired of reminding Lana, and I would be able to come to camp with her for 2 weeks. She didn't want to remind Lana anymore to feed me or clean my cage, and she wanted a vacation herself. She said the same thing again this year. So here I am at camp for a third time. Oh well. At least it's a change, and nobody runs a vacuum cleaner or practices the violin near my cage here. Ralph was silent. Chum had given him a lot to think about. Like Chum, he sat swinging to and fro on his wheels, swinging and thinking. And as he swung and thought, something caught his eye. Can you see it from back there, Milo? It's hiding behind me today. It was the striped forepaw of Catso reaching through the hole in the rusty screen door. Ralph watched in frightened fascination. The screen bulged from the pressure of Catso's shoulder as the paw groped and searched. The rusted screen stretched, and the evil paw, with its claw unsheathed, reached further into the craft shop. Where's Sam? Thought Ralph in terror. Why isn't that watchdog watching? The paw withdrew, and Catso's face was pressed into the hole. His evil green eyes searched the craft shop. Ralph shrank into a ball in the farthest corner of his cage until he heard a short bark from Sam and summoned his courage to look around. Catso was gone, but the hole in the rusty screen remained. That now brings us to chapter 5, which is called The Personal Mouse, although it's spelt a little differently than we would find it in the dictionary, so I'm wondering if this might be a kid's handwriting. Hard to tell. We'll have to see. There's usually some clues in our story. Milo, there's no snacking on the storyteller in the middle of the story. He's taking some little nibbles of my shirt right now. There's no snacking on the shirt. You can have more snack after. Ralph's life in the cage was never the same after the arrival of the hamster. Chum was picky about his food and fussy about his housekeeping. One corner of his cage had to be his bathroom, another his sleeping quarters, and the third the storehouse for the food he liked. He was forever pushing and shoving and stomping his cedar shavings, kind of like you guys. His exercise wheel rasped and creaked whenever he ran, usually while Ralph was trying to nap. He had a particularly irritating way of gnawing noisily at the bars of his cage. Why do you do that? Asked Ralph. You can't chew through the metal. I'm not trying to chew through the bars, said Chum. I'm wearing down my teeth. Ralph was astounded. Don't you want teeth? He asked, thinking how dependent he was upon his own sharp teeth. If I don't chew on something hard, my teeth will grow so long that I won't be able to eat, Chum explained impatiently. I chew the bars because Lana doesn't give me anything hard to chew. Oh, said Ralph, grateful that his own teeth did not continue to grow. Chum had another habit that disturbed Ralph. He nipped at Lana whenever she tried to pick him up. You guys don't know anything about that, right? No nipping. That's not nice, said Ralph one day, when he had seen Lana hastily withdraw her hand from her pet's cage. That's biting the hand that feeds you. I have some rights, said Chum. If I let Lana pick me up, I never would have any peace. Believe me, I know. I made the mistake of letting her pick me up that just once, when she tried to stuff me into a doll's sweater. I knew once was enough. No eating the book, sir. I can't let you eat the book while we're reading. We have to read. You can't eat it. No thanks. Chum also sat for long periods of time, swinging gently on his wheel and staring with unblinking eyes at nothing at all. Why do you sit there like that? Asked Ralph, who liked to be busy when he was awake. I'm thinking, answered Chum. Thinking about what? Ralph wanted to know. Ollie, you doing some thinking too? Got a close-up there. I am a philosopher, said Chum. I think about life. Life? Ralph was puzzled. What do you mean? Chum sat staring into space so long that Ralph thought he was never going to answer. Finally, the hamster said, take you, for instance. Just where do you think you're actually going on that wheel? Would you like to be to the side? You can join us for this story. No place, I guess, admitted Ralph. I never thought much about it, actually. See what I mean, said Chum. You run, and you're still in the same old cage. Ralph felt suddenly guilty, as if he had done something wrong, but was not sure what it was. But I like running on my wheel, he said, feeling that his answer was kind of unusual. Chum did not bother to reply. He continued to sit, swinging and staring and thinking. Ralph leaped to his wheel and began to run. His paws flew faster along the wires of the wheel, pushing it faster and faster until he looped the loop. He ran on until he began to tire. His paws touched the wire more and more slowly until Ralph coasted to a stop. Then he, too, sat staring and motionless. Where was he going? No place. That was all where he was going. No place at all. With so many people feeding him, he was not even sure who owned him anymore. Perhaps when the camp closed at the end of the summer, he would be turned out to the mercy of Catso and all those kittens. Drat Chum and his talk about life, thought Ralph crossly. He had spoiled all my fun. Chum had still another habit that was disturbing to Ralph. Whenever his owner approached him with a bag of sunflower seeds, Chum suddenly appeared to change from a grouch into a very agreeable pet. He's got some puppy dog eyes. He climbed to the top of his cage, accepted the sunflower seeds one by one, and stuffed the seeds into his cheek pockets. Feeding sunflower seeds to Chum became a daily event in the craft shop. The older campers and some of the counselors gathered around Lana to watch her feed Chum, and as she handed him the seeds, they would count how many he could fit. Sir, can you pick a side? It's a little hard to read with you right there in front. 14, 15. It's a lot of sunflower seeds for a hamster. Ralph watched while Chum's cheek pouches began to bulge. 22, 23. Still Chum's face stretched. The old show-off, thought Ralph. 27, 28. Chum had grown so top-heavy that Ralph was sure that he would never make it to 30. 30, 31, chanted the boys and girls. Chum was having such difficulty hanging on that Ralph scarcely could bear to watch. 33, those paws were slipping. 34, Chum could no longer support his weight. He fell to the bottom of his cage with a thump that made Ralph cringe. 34, shouted Lana, who enjoyed the attention her pet had received from the older boys and girls. That's Chum's new record. Maybe he'll hit 35 tomorrow, someone said, as the campers lost interest in the hamster and went off to their riding lessons or back to their craft work. Chum got to his feet rather groggily and went to the storehouse corner of his cage, where by placing his front paws behind his cheek pouches, he pushed all the seeds out of his mouth until they lay in a heap at his feet. Ralph was disapproving of the whole performance. That's quite an act, he remarked. Doesn't it hurt when you fall to the bottom of the cage? Sure it hurts, said Chum as he pushed out the last sunflower seed. But it's worth it. Just to show off? Asked Ralph. No, said Chum, for the sunflower seeds. Sunflower seeds that I don't have to pick out from a lot of alfalfa pellets. I perform. She pays me in sunflower seeds. That's the way it goes. Yes, but you get hurt, said Ralph. I hate alfalfa pellets, answered Chum simply. Ralph's turn came after lunch when the campers were in the dining hall singing a song that they obviously enjoyed, but that Ralph found rather frightening. Now, I don't know this song very well, but it goes, Bill Grogan's goat was feeling fine, ate 3 shirts right off the line. Garth silently pushed open the screen door, and Ralph leaped from his wheel. Quickly, Garth unlatched the door of the cage and extended a sunflower seed with his fingers. You guys are being very helpful. This time he was not singing, but Ralph still did not trust him. There's no sitting in my lap, buddy. Come on, fellow, coaxed Garth. Ralph retreated to the corner of his cage behind his exercise wheel. Maybe next time, little mouse, whispered Garth, and he hurriedly cleaned the cage and refilled the water bottle while the campers sang on. The whistle blew, the train drew neigh, Bill Grogan's goat was soon to die. He gave 3 groans of mortal pain, coughed up the shirts and flagged the train. When the song was finished, the housekeeping for Ralph was completed, and Garth had slipped quickly and silently out of the craft shop without letting the screen door slam or squeak. Ralph stood on his hind legs, holding the bars of the cage with his front paws and wishing Garth were a different kind of boy. Almost at once, the screen door opened again, and Aunt Jill, with her arm around Garth's shoulder, brought the boy back inside. Sit down, Garth, she said, and sat on a bench beside one of the work tables. Scowling, the boy obeyed. Now, I'll see if I can peek behind Ollie for now. We'll get a chance to see if Garth's in trouble or if there's something that's come up. It does seem like Aunt Jill has something very important that she wants to talk to him about. We shall find out more the next time, though, and I guess I'll peek beyond and Ollie here to say I hope you all continue doing your best work on our Google Classroom. Remember to help your families and look for moments where you can show kindness and caring to one another. Keep up the great work, my friends, and I'll see you all soon. Bye, everyone. Did you say bye?